can believe what you want to, but don't you know that time will tell? And he's already told me everything I need to know about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is working for us. Donald Trump, everything that the left has said about Donald Trump is false. And all you hear is, hey, somebody from Hollywood's gonna run for president. Tom Hanks, The Rock, which, The Rock, I hear is pretty conservative, but, who knows? I bet you he ain't no Donald Trump. I bet you that. But, next thing you know, Oprah's running. Yeah, Oprah's gonna beat Trump. She's the Democrat savior. Yeah. But, no. See, what they're doing, they're just, like, testing the water a little bit, seeing how people will react to something like that. Pretty much indoctrinating. I don't know if that's the right term I'm looking for. There is a term for it, whatever it's called. But see, that's how this mind control stuff works, folks. If you study it much, like, first they must plant the thought or praise or whatever it is, they got to plant it in your head. And it can't be, well, I guess it could be forced, but it pretty much has to be voluntary on your part. Like you might pick up on it, and then again you might not. Your subconscious mind might pick up on it and it not even register, even for real. And next thing you know, you're an MK Ultra mind test subject, okay? And then what you gonna do, folks? Get your red pills out, take them, give them to your neighbors, give them to your friends. Tell them about this show. It's a little dark in here today. I don't have all my studio lighting going on. I actually forgot. Just call me Forgetful Alex, because that's what I do best. I forget. I really do. I forget. Oh, yeah. Something like that. But anyways, I hope you're enjoying the show.
Clearly, I consider the Trump administration a danger to the world, but I regard it as a purely temporary phenomenon that will disappear in 2020 or even sooner. I give President Trump credit for motivating his core supporters brilliantly, but for every core supporter, he has created a greater number of core opponents who are equally strongly motivated. That's why I expect a Democratic landslide in 2018.
Yeah, you would. you would. So, in other words, George Soros is saying that he gives credit to Trump on the part of like moving his movement and his supporters and prioritizing what the people wanted, but it don't matter what the people want. The Democrats are going to win in 2018 by a landslide, or 2020. But they're going to win in 2018 too, okay? Just, just check. If you don't believe me, they just like in 2016, look at the polls. Democrats winning by anywhere between 15 and 30%. And that's all the polls, okay? There wasn't a poll anywhere that give Trump a snowball's chance in hell of beating Hillary Clinton. Okay? But look who won. There wasn't a mainstream media anywhere, but maybe Fox News. They were the only ones that gave Trump a snowball's chance in hell. Okay? That's the truth. That's the facts. Y'all call the show if y'all want to. Hang on, I'll give y'all the number. I don't even know what it is right off. Well, we'll wait. We'll wait a few minutes and open up the phone lines. I've actually got a little something else going on right now. Let's see what else we got. But how about that, folks? That was a literal, true, in the flesh Nazi sitting there telling you that it didn't matter what you wanted. It didn't matter who you voted for. The Democrats were going to win by a landslide. And it may not even matter because they'll probably impeach him anyway. That's pretty much what he said right there with his phony little Eastern European accent. Man, you know how many Jews that George Soros led to their deaths? George Soros, while the Nazis were rounding up the Jews, folks, George Soros was a Jew. Okay, his father let some Nazi guy adopt him. Okay, because he knew that they were Jews, and he knew what was going to happen to the Jews. So he let Georgie Porgy Soron be adopted by, this Nazi figure. Well, what does this Nazi do? He uses little Georgie Porgy and he sends him out and lets him be a Judas. He goes and makes friends, gets all the Jews to trust him, and this and that. Find out, who's got the most valuables and all this. Find out where they hide them at. Find out their habits. Find out their hiding places. And what does Georgie Porgy Soron do? Georgie Porgy of Soron then goes back and tells the Nazis all about where the Jews were hiding, where the Jews had all their valuables, which Jews had the most valuables. And the rest is history, folks. He has went on national TV and said that when asked if he was ashamed of what he did, he said, "Not at all. No, not at all." Okay? And if you don't believe me, look it up. Google it. Go to YouTube. There's at least a couple of different videos, okay? Now, back on track. Kentucky high school shooting stokes memories of similar tragedy nearby. Here we have pictures of the poor kid who did the shooting. Folks, this is awful. As bad a deed as that was. You gotta feel sorry for this poor kid right here. I mean, no doubt he's led a hard life in more ways than one, probably at home and probably at school too. And he just didn't want nobody to bother him physically or mentally or vocally or verbally or anything like that, I'd say. But you know, I ain't condoning gun violence here. I really ain't. I'm just feeling sorry for everybody that's affected by this, folks. Okay? Listen, when it comes to guns, they're not gonna take our guns, okay? It's in the damn Constitution. That they'll have to do away with the Constitution before they can do away with guns. That's plain and simple, okay, folks? Mark my word. And another thing, as powerful as the people in government try to act like they are, they get their power from the people. Their power is lent to them by the people on a, term basis, I guess, Some people stays in office 4 years, some people stays in office 6 years. Some people may even stay in office 8 years, I think. And that's just the way it is. No matter what they do, no matter what they say, they get their power from we the people. We lend it to them. Okay? And that's the way it is. The deadly shooting at a Western Kentucky high school Tuesday harkens back to a similar national tragedy 20 years ago. The shooting at Marshall County High School, where at least one person died, now two, that's me. This is an old article. This is when it first happened. Where at least one person died and several were wounded, is about 30 miles from Heath High School in Paducah. In December 1997, freshman Michael Carnell walked into a prayer school with a .22 caliber, killing 3 female students and wounding 5 more. I done already told y'all about this. He's now serving a life sentence. I think, he can appear before a parole board in 2022. Here's a picture of that individual. Resident in Paducah commemorated the 20th anniversary of the shooting last month, where survivors and victims' loved ones came together at the school. Quote, "You know what I had to go through and what I have to still deal with is now serving a purpose in some form or fashion so that people can see what violence can do. It's kind of a reminder," end quote, said survivor Missy Jenkins Smith, who became a school counselor, reportedly said at the service. community last September broke ground on a memorial for the shooting, according to local NBC affiliate WPSD. Fundraising efforts for the memorial were led by Christina Elligood, whose sister Nicole Hadler was one of the three who was killed. She said, quote, "It shows me the community has never forgotten my sister," end quote. Ella Good told the news channel at the time of the groundbreaking. But yeah, this is just awful, folks. Not only are they still dealing with what happened in Paducah 30 miles away, they're now having to deal with a new scar that will last for forever, folks. That school will be forever marked. And listen, out of all the craziness that went on when I went to high school, out of all that craziness, I didn't have to worry about nothing like that, I didn't think, okay? And I never once feared or never thought about something like that happening at my school. No matter if I was in middle school, high school, whatever. Heck, I brought a BB gun to school one time in the 4th grade, and wasn't nothing said. We had like a project going on for these old artifacts that was used like within the last couple of centuries for one thing or another, like antiques and stuff, pretty much like a display museum type of thing. And I had a gun that was modeled like an old, bolt action rifle, and old dumb ASS me brought a BB gun to school, and it wasn't no big deal. I'm sitting here talking about it right now. But if that happened today, then they would call the police. If the police wasn't already at the school, if the police was at the school, they would call that police back up. Okay? If somebody brought a BB gun to school today, that's exactly what would happen. They would say that somebody come to school to shoot somebody's eye out or anything. By the way, there's been a fatal crash on the Mountain Parkway. Kills 2. Deputies say the crash happened on the Mountain Parkway around mile marker 52. By the way, the government, I guess, is shut down, ain't it? I don't know. I ain't heard a thing. I've heard a little bit, but here's a little something. Shut down. McConnell opposes Trump on ending filibusters. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is pulling back against President Donald Trump's calls to end Senate filibusters. what I tell you about Mitch, the bitch, okay? He needs to go to the house, okay? He has served his time. He has made his actions known. He has revealed his true identity. Believe that. By the way, any of y'all that don't know what the filibuster is, a filibuster in the U.S. Senate is a dilatory or obstructive tactic used in the United States Senate to prevent a measure from being brought to a vote. The most common form of a filibuster occurs when one or more senators attempts to delay or block a vote on a bill by extending debate on the measure. So, there you go. Mitch McConnell's holding up progress in the Senate, folks. Like I said, he needs to go to the House and he needs to retire. I'm sorry, but the truth's the truth, and I will not be voting for Mitchy Boy this 2018. By the way, any of y'all that wants to email me, you can email me at alexmorgan9183@gmail.com or email me at thealexmorganshow@gmail.com, or you can email me at freedominternetradio@gmail.com. Just so y'all know. That's one way of contacting me. The most obvious way is going to alexmorganshow.org and clicking on the contact link. And I would be more than happy to assist you with anything. If not, one of my greatly qualified assistants would be more than happy to help you. By the way, my puppy's crying like a little baby somewhere. Where you at, Coco? What are you crying for? They're just like children, folks. You gotta love dogs. Anybody that don't love dogs, there's something wrong with them bad. She want my attention is what it is. She want me to get up and come in there. And I think it's funny to sit and watch them work you and get you to do stuff for them. They know how to work you. They know what they're doing. A dog is one of the most smartest animals that God ever put on this green earth. They're one of the sweetest things in the world too. A dog won't never deceive you. A dog won't ever lie to you. A dog just wants to be your friend. A dog don't want to hurt you at all. I mean, you there may be a few out there that might bite, but that's just because they've been corrupted and mistreated by dumb humans, okay? Anybody that would hurt a dog there's something bad wrong with them. Okay, I couldn't hurt a dog at all. There ain't no way. But anyways, I wanted to get into this article right here. This is maybe some unheard of legislation, but it could affect you if you live in the state of Kentucky. This is huge news if you ask me. New House bill could merge Kentucky counties. Lexington, Kentucky, Lex 18. House Bill
We now have key
243.
details about President Trump's immigration proposal. This is all new. And the big takeaway is this number, 1.8 million.
We'll get back to that article here in a few minutes. House Bill 243, sponsored by Republican State Representative Toby Harold of Beattyville, would change Kentucky's political landscape in the most literal way. The bill would consolidate 100 counties into 34 larger counties, such as Fayette, Jefferson, Warren, and Pike would remain unchanged. The counties could be renamed and local governments could consolidate. A similar bill, House Bill 242, would also reduce the number of Kentucky county and independent school districts. Boyd County would retain its own school district despite merging with Martin and Lawrence in House Bill 243. But this is huge news, folks. It really is. And you talk about changing the political landscape. We're talking elected officials would no longer be needed for to serve their office. So they would, be let go. I don't know what's going on here. I really don't, but I tend to think that I don't know nothing about this Republican State Representative Toby Harold of Beattyville. I have no idea about him, but this sounds very, very Democratic to me. Okay, this sounds like it's got the left all over it. They love doing stuff like this. They have done stuff like this in the past in Democratic states like Virginia, I think, and that's why I say that. No, I don't like this, and we need to do something. We need to write our Kentucky lawmakers and tell them that we don't want to merge with 2 or 3 different counties. Listen, if they don't need to merge Leslie County High School with Harlan County or Clay County or Perry County or Laurel County or anything like that, because if they do that, folks, they're just asking for trouble, and that is not bettering the education system. That is making it worse. That is hindering students from learning. That is that's probably costing teachers jobs. About guaranteed that it is. Yeah, there's nothing good that I see in this bill at all, and I really think that we should come together on this little Bill 243 and Bill 242 that's in the House right now, I guess. We need to make us a petition, and we need to see that our lawmakers see it. This is something that I'm definitely gonna talk to someone about who's running this year for state representative. Matter of fact, I plan to have him on the show here pretty awesome. I mean, what about pretty awesome? Pretty soon. It's been a long morning, folks. I apologize. Once you look right there, do you see that? I wish I could get a good close-up of that, because that is a face that only a mother could love. Okay? And I'm fixing to show you. Hold on. The millionaires and the billionaires and the twillionaires and the wabbits and yeah, man. That right there, that's a communist. That is the face of the enemy, okay? As good as what he was saying during the 2016 election, as good as all that was sounding, it was nothing but a leftist tactic, a leftist political tactic, which just like Barack Obama, they choose their words very, very carefully. Okay, I put it to you like that, and they can pretty much tell you that they're gonna rape your mommy and make you watch and then kill both of you and make it sound like that they're gonna, send you on vacation to Disney World and y'all are gonna have the best time ever was. That's the way the left, especially the political left, hearing gunshots, folks. My neighbor must be doing a little target shooting this afternoon. It's 1:57 here on the east side of the United States. This is the Alex Morgan Show. Coming to you live from our Appalachian Command Center right here in good old Hyden, Kentucky.
Key details about President Trump's immigration proposal. This is all new, and the big takeaway is this number, 1.8 million. That is how many dreamers in this country, and actually other young undocumented immigrants who would have qualified for DACA, or the Dreamer program, would be given a path to citizenship in this new proposal. Our politics reporter Tal Copen broke it all late last night. She's with us now. A few things to go through here. First of all, is this it? Is this the final word from the White House on Dreamers? Yes, path to citizenship for you? Because it's been going back and forth and back and forth.
Well, it certainly seems to be where they've landed, and it's a substantial move on their part to offer, as we said, estimated 1.8 million, which includes everyone who participated in DACA, who would have been eligible for DACA, and more, because they're going to set different eligibility requirements, and that's how you get the 1.8 million number. Otherwise, it's very similar. You have to meet certain requirements to qualify, working, education, not having a criminal record, but they're putting a pretty big ask on top of this as well. Another eye-popping number is 25 billion plus. So we're going to have 25 billion.
$25 billion trust for the wall.
That they want in a fund
And,
immediately
other
for the
technology.
border. So
More funding for personnel. Closing quote legal loopholes end quote, making it easier to immediately deport people. All that sounds awesome.
the wall, other elements like technology. They also want more money for hiring personnel, and there's they're including a few things in border security that actually may be sort of sneakily more difficult than they seem. They call it closing legal loopholes, but that could potentially mean a
I apologize, folks, for the slow video. I must have too many things running and too many things open.
vast increase in enforcement powers and the ability to deport people quickly from the United States. So just that piece of this, and there's more, is a pretty big act. Already.
Well, you've got some, on the left saying we don't like this at all. But look, if they want a deal for Dreamers, if Democrats want a deal for Dreamers, if you're going to have to give some. And we know a number of Republicans want a deal for Dreamers, too. What do you see, Tal, as the biggest concession that Democrats are being asked to give here? Because, got some, on the left saying we don't like this at all. But look, if they want a deal for Dreamers, if Democrats want a deal for Dreamers, they're going to have to give some. And we know a number of Republicans want a deal for Dreamers, too. What do you see, Tal, as the biggest concession that Democrats are being asked to give here? Because, it's clear this morning, and there's reporting that the White House is saying there are some non-negotiables in here.
Yeah, that's right, Poppy. And as I mentioned, some of those legal loopholes may be a lot trickier than they seem at first blush, but we don't really have the details at this point to know. But there are two other pillars of this, as they're being called, what's referred to by the White House chain migration or family-based migration and the diversity lottery. So on family migration, what the administration wants to do is they want to take away all of the family sponsorship categories besides spouses and minor children. So that gets rid of adult children, parents, brothers and sisters. That's a substantial cut to the number of legal immigrants to the U.S. every year. Now, initially, those numbers will be used to work through a backlog that is decades long.
ahead and pause it right there, folks, and skip it. I'm not much worried about CNN's opinion much politically anyway. Or really about nothing.
This is Freedom Internet Radio greater than you're listening to The Alex Morgan Show. For the best news and information on the internet, go to alexmorganshow.org. For the best news and information on the internet, go to alexmorganshow.org. The best collection of the most controversial stories and articles, available for human consumption, known to man. The best collection of the most controversial stories and articles, available for human consumption, known to man. Tell your friends, family members, and every conservative that you know, alexmorganshow.org. Tell your friends, family members, and every conservative that you know, alexmorganshow.org. Free shipping almost STOREWIDE. Free shipping almost STOREWIDE.
There you have it, folks. Thank you, Jan, for that great MK Ultra brainwashing right there. That was awesome. Great job. Give yourself a hand. Pat on the back. My most valuable employee. Now Ross goes over here at the door wanting in. Ain't like he's gonna just cry. But yeah. There's the enemy, folks. That's what the enemy looks like. That is what should be listed in the Webster's Dictionary, right beside of both the term communist, the term socialist, the left. It should have a picture of Bernie. Look at him. As much money as he's got, as much money as he's made off politics, as many $1 million homes as Bernie Sanders owns, he still ain't happy. Look at him. You know why he's not happy? Because he hasn't took the democracy out of America yet. He hasn't done away with the Constitution and the Second Amendment. Okay? He hasn't taken your free speech yet. And he hasn't taken your right to practice the religion of your choice. Okay? These people, they want you living off the government. They want your loved ones to be married to the damn government, to depend on them to put bacon on their tables and money in their pocket, bread on their sandwiches. Hey, I tell you what, that right there is a low-life piece of that word that CNN was using that Trump said there a week or two ago. Okay, that's what he is. And this is a family-friendly broadcast, and I'm not going to stoop to the level of CNN. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. But anyway, you are listening to the greatest and most not elemental, but what's the word I'm looking here for here? the most natural podcast on the air today. I will say that. We are looking for people who would like to place ads on our websites. We're looking for people who would like to help with our website. We're looking for people that would like to be reporters. We're looking for boots on the ground. Okay, folks? If anybody out there wants to help this cause, hey, please, the more the merrier. We need your support. We need your energy. We need you. Folks, let me tell you something. Liberty, real liberty, real liberty. It don't exist, okay? It's just a made up word with some phony meaning that they give it, okay? Real liberty is freedom. All of your freedoms. Not the freedoms that the government gives you. Because the government don't give you no freedom. Okay? God is what gives us freedom. God gives us freedom at birth. He gives us the right to pursue of happiness. He gives us the right to practice our own religion of our choice. He gives us the power to have firearms. God gives us the food on our tables, and God gives us everything, folks. Okay, that's all I can say. I know that's a little bit spiritual and all that, but I'm a pretty spiritual guy. Okay, and I hope that you all are too. If you're not, I suggest that you get more in touch with the Lord. I suggest that you pray. I suggest you pray every chance you get. But now I'm not here to preach on y'all, okay? I'm here to help y'all. And I hope that's what I'm doing by doing this. I hope that I'm helping our cause. Because we can't do this alone. I might as well quit. If nobody's gonna watch the live streams, if nobody's gonna go to the alexmorganshow.org/show and purchase a $11 pack of rechargeable batteries, then this show's not going to survive, folks. Okay, it's not. I can't keep paying for everything that I need and have to have personally, because I just don't have the means. And that's the reason I made these websites and all this. I hope and pray that you understand. I hope and pray that you'll support me. I do, because without you, I can't operate. I might as well give up. That's just all they are to it. But there's Bernie. Bernie should have combed his head. He's a senator. He's a public figure. Bernie should have combed his head, okay? But that's how sorry that Bernie is, okay? Bernie don't care what he looks like. That suit right there probably ain't even very clean, if the truth be known. He's wore it 5 times since he's been in Washington and ain't even sent it to the dry cleaners, truth be known. Because Bernie's too sorry to comb his head. Look at that, folks. And that is total disrespect for a U.S. senator to not care what he looks like for the people and the country that he represents, enough to comb his head before taking a picture on Capitol Hill. Look at him right there. Hair sticking out everywhere. He looks like Medusa, okay? And he surely needs to turn that frown upside down. So like I told you, Bernie's not happy in that picture. Schumer rejects Trump's immigration proposal. The White House plan, this comes from Politico. The White House plan to win over Democrats by providing citizenship for Dreamers in exchange for sharp restrictions on illegal immigration isn't working. By Burgess Everett, 126, 2018. Senate Minority Leader Chuck F.U. Schumer, excuse me, opposes the immigration framework released by the White House, a potentially fatal blow for the prospective legislation in the closely divided Senate. The New York Democrat on Friday accused President Trump of using a proposed path for citizenship for young undocumented immigrants as cover for making sweeping and damaging changes to the legal immigration system. Quote, the plan flies in the face of what most Americans believe, end quote. Chuck F.U. Schumer said on Twitter, while Trump, quote, finally acknowledged that the Dreamers should be allowed to stay here and become citizens. He uses them as a tool to tear apart our legal immigration system and adopt the wish list that anti-immigration hardliners have advocated for years. End quote. The one-page proposal released by the White House on Thursday would allow as many as 1.8 million young immigrants to become citizens, while also calling for $25 billion in spending on a border wall and security, as well as sharply restricting family-based immigration and eliminating a visa lottery system. White House officials are hoping the Senate will put it up for a vote, but it appears doomed to fail. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders quickly shot back, tweeting that Chuck F.U. Schumer prefers, quote, open borders and sanctuary cities over law and order and popular common sense reforms, end quote. Soon after, Trump himself piled on with a personal insult aimed at Schumer. Quote, DACA has been made increasingly difficult by the fact that crying Chuck F.U. Schumer took such a beating over the shutdown that he is unable to act on immigration, end quote, Donald Trump tweeted. Schumer's remarks further cement the Democratic opposition, leaving little clarity on how Congress will clinch an agreement to preserve expiring legal protections for the Deferred Actions for Childhood Arrival program. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi called it, quote, anti-immigration, unquote, and Senate Minority Whip Dick Durbin, Democrat of Illinois, said Trump's plan would institute Trump's, quote, hardline immigration agenda, including massive cuts to legal immigration on the backs of these young people, end quote. Dianne Feinstein, she says, quote, President Trump and Republicans cannot be allowed to use Dreamers as a bargaining chip for their wish list of anti-immigration policies. A bipartisan group of senators plan to continue meeting over the next 2 weeks to try to strike a deal that can pass the Senate with overwhelming support, with hopes that would force the White House to swallow it and Trump to sign it. But Republican and Democratic lawmakers are also meeting separately in partisan groups, making the prospects of an easel crossing deal murky at best, given the political tensions in the Capitol following a 3-day government shutdown. In the Senate, quote, "There's probably 50 groups right now," end quote, said Senator Thom Tillis, Republican of North Carolina. Quote, next week could be a possible pivotal point in time where we start looking at a specific baseline bill and build on it, end quote. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has committed to an immigration debate in February, but lawmakers have no idea where they will start. It could even be a blank bill that is constructed through the amendment process. Quote, the word that the majority leader used is, quote, neutral, said Senator Jeff Merkley, Democrat from Oregon. Quote, I don't know if that means there's nothing in it or it's yet to be determined by the majority leader, end quote. Though many Republicans have coalesced behind the Trump's framework over the past day, that won't be enough to make it law. The GOP controls over 51 votes in the Senate and would need to get at least 9 Democrats behind Trump. A near impossibility given Schumer's opposition. Still, Republicans hope that Trump's offer to provide a pathway to citizenship for the Dreamers could unlock a gridlock on Capitol Hill. Quote, the more information we have about what he's thinking, the better, end quote, said Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican from South Carolina. Trump's willingness to provide citizenship to undocumented immigrants has received some criticism from the right, from groups like Heritage Action for America, but the plan did not receive support from key conservative barometers in the Senate, including GOP Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas and Dave Perdue of Georgia. Quote, I appreciate the president putting forth a clear framework on immigration that includes many of my key concerns, ending chain migration and the diversity visa, as well as increasing border security, end quote, said Senator Jim Indoff, Republican from Oklahoma, another border hawk, on Friday morning. So there you have it. The Schumer shutdown continues. And why, folks? Why are they not taking what Donald Trump and the Republicans are offering in this deal? It's everything that the Democrats have ever wanted. It's everything that they have ever fit for in the Dreamers, okay? Except what? Nothing. That's what. It's everything that they've ever wanted for the Dreamers. Yet they refuse to negotiate this border / DACA amnesty deal that Trump's got going on. And I mean, that's the only way that they're going to get what they want. And this seems like the only way that the Republicans are going to get what they want. If I had it my way, there wouldn't be no Democrats unless they were old school Democrats, and then those Democrats would eventually be corrupted. Okay, they would be bought off. They would be so deep in the deep state that you couldn't tell where they began and it ended. Okay, if that tells you anything, they would. I know exactly what I am talking about. makes me mad to think about all this crazy stuff that's going on all around us, folks. And I know y'all feel like that you don't have any control over it, like you're gonna have to just accept it and prepare the best way you can. But that's not the way it is, folks. Okay? That's not the way it is, and that's not the way it's going to be either. Why it matters, the report that Trump tried to fire Mueller. Donald Trump is dismissing as, quote, fake news, end quote, a new accusation that he tried to fire the special counsel investigating him, but he could face legal and political blowback. This comes from usnews.com. Must be linked to an AP article by Tom Labanacle, Associated Press, Washington. President Donald Trump pushed back Friday against reports that he ordered White House lawyer Don McGahn to fire special counsel Robert Mueller last June. Quote, fake news, folks. Fake news. Typical New York Times fake stories, end quote. Trump retorted dismissively when asked about it by reporters at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. The reports first come by the Times and then others said Trump backed off on his attempts to fire the man who is investigating him. His election campaign's Russia contacts and his firings of FBI Director James Comey and National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, but only after lawyer McGahn refused to relay his directive to the Justice Department and threatens to quit if Trump pushed the issue. In Washington, Mueller's team was still on the job Friday investigating the president and his 2016 election campaign. So, what if the allegation is true? After the news came out Thursday night, Democratic Senator Mark Warner of Virginia quickly accused Trump of crossing, quote, a red line, end quote, that should be met forcibly by lawmakers to protect the Constitution. Warner is the ranking Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, but Republicans were quick to dismiss the report, pointing out that Mueller had not actually been fired. Some legal experts noted that the presidents, like anyone else, can say things they don't mean when angry. At the same time, others saw that the alleged Trump order as part of a pattern of obstruction that could be pressed by Mueller disrupting or even dimming Trump's presidency. would such a presidential order be illegal? Jacob Frankel, a defense lawyer and former prosecutor, said defense lawyers would argue that the conversation with McGunn was, quote, an expression of frustration and irritation, not an intended personal action. A statement alone without follow-up action can be subject to different explanations, allow for reasonable doubt as the intent he indicated. Andrew Leopold, a professor at the University of Illinois College of Law, concurred, quote, people say all sorts of things that they're going to do and that they calm down. They calm down. They better think of it. And they got talked out of it, end quote, he said. Some of this may just be no more than the president, as well as all presidents have done, racing their engines about things, end quote. That said, this latest revelation isn't the only example of presidential action that could be seen as an attempt to interfere with an investigation of Trump and his campaign. Another is the firing Comey as FBI director last May. Mueller was appointed special counsel by Rod Rosenstein, the deputy attorney general, after Attorney General Jeff Sessions stepped aside because of his own close involvement with the Trump campaign. Quote, it's easy to see where this would be an element of component to consider as part of an obstruction mosaic, end quote, Frankel said. What does this mean for Mueller's investigation? It could have no bearing on the investigation at all, or it could be part of the obstruction case against Trump or others. But that raises a perennial constitutional question. Can the president be charged in criminal court? Some in the legal field say yes, more say no. The only recourse is impeachment by Congress. Meanwhile, despite the sensational nature of the Times report, there is likely little that Mueller doesn't already know about events in the White House. More than 20 White House employees have given interviews to the special counsel's investigation into possible obstruction and Trump campaign ties to Russia election interference. John Dowd, one of Trump's attorneys, said the White House, in what he called an unprecedented, quote, unquote, display of cooperation with Mueller's investigation, has turned over more than 20,000 pages of records. The president's 2016 campaign has turned over more than 1.4 million pages. The number of voluntary interviews includes 8 people from the White House counsel's office. In addition, an additional 28 people affiliated with the Trump campaign have been interviewed by either the special counsel of congressional committees probing Russia election meddling. Dowd did not name the people, not provide a breakdown or how many were interviewed, only by Mueller's team. Legal jeopardy aside, what about political fallout? Trump's national approval numbers are low, but his conservative base has kept it solid through all the criticism he has came under in his first year as president. Why would this be different? In Congress, Democrats have been quick to exploit the report. Warner called Trump's actions, quote, a gross abuse of power. End quote. However, Republicans noted that the purported order came long ago before Trump surrounded himself with new lawyers. Since then, his public demeanor toward Mueller has changed. Nonetheless, Senate Republicans were worried last summer, and GOP Senators Lindsey Graham and Tom Tillis introduced legislation that would protect the special counsel, but that hasn't gone anywhere. Trump has softened the public criticism of Mueller. White House officials say over and over that he has nothing to hide, and his lawyers have signaled they are cooperating too. Till spokesman Daniel Keeling said that since the legislation was introduced, quote, the chatter that the administration is considering removing special counsel Mueller has completely came to a halt, end quote. What now? Mueller's investigators hope to interview Trump soon. This week, the president declared he was eager to do it, and under oath, quote, I'm looking forward to it, actually, end quote, Trump said when asked by reporters. As for timing, he said, quote, I guess they're talking about 2 or 3 weeks, but I'd love to do it, end quote. His lawyers walked that back a bit. No interview has been agreed to. All sides agreed. The story of Trump's alleged effort to sack Mueller added just one more question. I don't know what that question would be. It's untelling. Because they believe in questioning everything that our great president does, folks. They really do. see what Bernie Sanders had to say here in this interview. Give me just a second to be loading up here. Again, I apologize for my slow internet. I reset my computer earlier, but you know how that goes.
Telling you news events from throughout the world. We're not regional, we're not national, we're broadcasting worldwide. Modern day pirate radio meets informational warfare. Visit alexmorganshow.org today.
Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders, who is on the campaign trail in San Diego. Senator, thank you very much for getting...
My puppy is crying, folks. I apologize. My internet's slow.
Getting up so early to
I'm
join us.
sorry.
I hope you have coffee. So you're out there trying to get delegates, and Hillary Clinton is saying that there is no way she's not going to be the nominee. Campaign trail in San Diego. Senator, thank you very much for getting up so early to join us. I hope you have coffee. So you're out there trying to get delegates, and Hillary Clinton is saying that there is no way she's not going to be the nominee.
Well, I think that Hillary Clinton has not looked at a lot of the national polls out there, which have me doing a lot better than...
That's exactly right, folks. I just wanted to point out that Hillary stole the election from Bernie. Okay? In case y'all didn't know, she stole it.
Not going to be the nominee.
Well, I think that Hillary Clinton has not looked at a lot of the national polls out there, which have me doing a lot better than she is against Donald
That's
Trump.
exactly
That's true in
right.
almost all of the state polls as well. I think she may not have noticed that in the last three contests we won and we tied in Kentucky, and that we have an excellent...
Everybody liked Bernie. Whether they was a Democrat or not, but everybody liked Bernie. And I don't know what happened if our internet is I don't know.
Chance to win a majority of the states coming up.
Don't know what's going on.
That Hillary Clinton has not looked at a lot of the national polls out there, which have me doing a lot better than she is against Donald Trump, and that's
She
true
didn't
in
have to,
almost
that
all
was
of the
paid
state
for.
polls as well. I think she may not have noticed that in the last 3 contests we won and we tied in Kentucky, and that we have an excellent chance to win a majority of the states coming up in the next 2 weeks. 6 states, we think we can win most of them, including California. I think when you have a situation, John, where over 400 superdelegates declared for Hillary Clinton before anyone else was in the race, before the first ballot was cast, before anyone had a sense of how the campaign was going, I think we have a chance to win over some of those superdelegates who see me as the strongest candidate against. States, and we think we can win most of them, including California. I think when you have a situation, John, where over 400 superdelegates declared for Hillary Clinton before anyone else was in the race, before the first ballot was cast, before anyone had a sense of how the campaign was going, I think we have a chance to win over some of those superdelegates who see me as the strongest candidate against Trump. And also, I think we can, if we do very, very well, and it's an uphill fight, if we do very well in the next 6 states, we will have a majority of pledged delegates or come very close to that.
Let me ask you about that uphill fight on the question of pledged delegates. We'll leave superdelegates for a moment.
Folks, it was in the bag for Hillary Clinton from the beginning, okay? It was in the bag for Hillary Clinton ever since 2012, I guess, when she lost the Democratic nominee for
Just on the pledged delegates.
Democratic presidential candidate that year, and she was promised the nominee in 2016. That's all they are to it. I mean, a blind man can see it. I don't have to ask anybody about it because I know. You know, they pretty much tell you that with your actions. They really do. Folks, it seems I've got a bit of a family emergency on hand here. I'll be back as soon as possible. More than likely tomorrow. I've got a whole lot more news to cover. I've got a lot more stuff I want to talk about. I've got a lot more points that I want to make. Please go over to alexmorganshow.org/store. Make a purchase. If you want to donate $1 or $2, please do so. I would really appreciate it. Again, get in on the contest. Go over to Freedom Internet Radio Media's Facebook page and find out about it. I may have shared it on Facebook earlier on my main account. I don't know, I can't remember, but that's why it's so important to like and follow the Alex Morgan Show and Freedom Internet Media on Facebook and Twitter. Remember, first prize, is $50. Second and third prize will be a free t-shirt. So be sure to take advantage of that. Be sure to take advantage of free shipping. I'm most store-wide on everything but batteries, but I will be changing that as soon as possible. I will work out some kind of free shipping thing for HIT. I don't know. I can't make any promises. I may have to go up about $1 or something. I don't know. I'll check and see. I'll check with a distributor, see if there's something I can work out. But again, if y'all listen to the show today, I greatly appreciate it. I had a little technical issues earlier with my podcast feeds, but I got it all straightened out and got her done. So that's all that matters. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I hope plenty of y'all enter the contest. I really do. I get so excited about stuff like this. This is fun for me. It gives me a lot more interest in what I do. Be sure to keep your webcams covered when you're not using them, especially when you're naked with your significant other. The NSA are a bunch of perverts and some pretty creepy bastards, so keep that in mind. This is Alex Morgan signing off. Thanks for listening. Pray for my aunt, pray for the victims of the shooting, pray for Donald Trump, pray for me, pray for my family, pray for, let me think of her name, 1 second. Sheila Johnson, pray for Sheila Johnson. She's sick, she's got a hole in her heart, she's had blood leaking out of her heart and going to her brain and causing her to have mini strokes, so she definitely needs your prayers. If you would like to find out how you can help her family, just contact me at thealexmorganshow.org. Thank y'all for listening. God bless. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.